narrative analysis. This is another interesting type of qualitative data analysis that we need to understand. Narrative analysis, it focuses on the stories told by individuals and examines the ways in which the narratives are constructed and the meanings they convey. It is particularly useful in understanding individual experiences and personal accounts. So you would realize that narrative analysis is usually used in studies that are focusing mainly on ethnography. So it might be your historical studies, it might be your cultural studies, it might be your social studies, whereby you need to provide specific narratives and outline what these narratives mean, outline how these narratives should be interpreted. So there are mainly 4 steps in narrative analysis. The first step is identifying the narratives. The second step is analyzing the structure of the narratives. The third step is content analysis. And then the fourth step is contextual analysis. So this is what makes up a narrative analysis. So getting to understand the first step, that is identifying the narratives. You select narratives or stories within the data. When you have done your interviews, or when you have done your surveys, or even when you have looked at the different historical texts, the main important aspect is to identify the narratives that respond to your objectives, the narratives that are peculiar or that are critical to your specific objectives or to your specific research questions. Once you have identified those, then you go to the second step, which is analyzing the structure. This is whereby you examine the structure of the narratives, such as the plot, the characters, and the settings. So this is very important to understand. In this case, obviously, you need to identify where did the story or within the narrative happened, what was involved or who was involved, and what were the conditions that led to such kind of activities. So obviously, if you are looking at a historical study, you might be looking at issues pertaining to war, you might be looking at issues pertaining to the apartheid and all kinds of aspects that might be involved in that. So you need to be able to establish what was the plot, who were the characters involved, and what were in what settings were all these kind of things happening. And then the third and important step again is the content analysis. This is whereby you interpret the content of the narratives to understand the underlying themes and messages. So it might be similar to the content analysis when you get to this step, but what is crucial, especially in a narrative analysis, you need to understand the themes that are being brought out by either the individual, if it's in ethnography, or by individuals who are involved maybe in the ethnographic study, or if it's a broader qualitative study whereby you have different participants. You need to understand the type of stories that are being told. What are the themes that are emerging in these stories, and what are the key messages that they are portraying? What is crucial? It might be, for instance, if you are your study is looking at land, it might involve the key messages pertaining to land. What are those messages which are being brought forward? And then the final step is the contextual analysis. In this contextual analysis, your interest is to consider the context in which the narratives are told, including the social context, the cultural context, and the historical context. So it's very crucial in a narrative analysis to also provide a contextual analysis, because what is considered important in South Africa might not be considered important in Zimbabwe. It might not be considered important in Mozambique. So context is very crucial in a narrative analysis, because the experiences of people in KZN might be different during apartheid, might be different from the experiences of people in Gauteng. Yes, there might be similar issues here and there, but the narratives and the stories might be a bit different. So that is very crucial to understand when you're engaging in a narrative analysis. These are the kind of aspects you are intending or you intend to bring out. So in any study or in any study that you conduct and you use narrative analysis, it's very crucial to understand the peculiarities or the contextual issues that surround it. So obviously, when you have understood the narrative analysis, we now need to understand another type of qualitative data analysis, which is discourse analysis.